And we are live with another episode of Comic Talk. Is that show brought to you by The Key, where we talk about new comic book releases. New comics come out every single Wednesday of every single week, and we are here live on a Thursday, June 19th, 2025, to talk about everything that we could read, whether it's DC, Marvel, Image Comics, Mad Cave Studios. There's a bunch of comic companies out there, and we try to read as much as we can in 24 hours to do this show. I'm your host, Dimithri Perera, and if you're watching us live, you are watching us on youtube.com/The Keeg Show, or, other streaming platforms out there, or you're listening to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., etc. But if you're watching us live, you can see me, and you can see who the guest for today is. But if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see that. But no matter how you're digesting us, thank you so much for it. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, go to comicshoplocator.com, find a comic shop near you. Our guest for today, we got Aaron, aka King Krakoa, here to talk about everything that we read. Aaron, welcome back to the show, man.
Oh, thank you, sir. It's always nice to be back,
It's always nice to have you, man. You are consistent.
Yes, sir. I feel like a good supporting character in this story. I'm liking it.
The thing I love about this show is that, because of the way the show is, it is really hard, first things first, for people to read comics in general. Any comic on their own terms, whatnot. And then the second part, even tougher, is reading it weekly, as we do on this show, right?
Yeah.
And then, on top of that, being able to read it in 24 hours, reading as much as we can, and then doing a show on it, that is tough work. And you are one of the rotating Comic Talk crew that comes on the show to talk about it. So thanks for being consistent, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Look, I'm just happy to be a part of the family. I love talking about comics, and we can do this literally all day.
Yeah, no, I know. Shout out to anybody out there who is watching us live. If you're watching us live on youtube.com/The Keeg Show, let us know you're out there. Shout out, hop in the chat. We normally have a good, we've been rising in consistent, viewers who like to shout themselves out in the chat. So, let us know. This was a big week for comics. I don't know what's going on, but there was 21 Marvel comics. There was 12 DC comics. These are all that came out this week, Wednesday, at your local comic shop. There's obviously a bunch of Image comics. There's Mad Cave Studios, which we'll talk about as well. But a lot of comics that came out, and obviously, we can't read everything that we want to read in 24 hours. So I'm interested, Aaron. What did you read? What made your list of comics that you got to finish before showtime?
Sheesh. Well, let's get into it. So this week I read Avengers 27, X-Men number 18, Amazing Spider-Man number 6, Wonder Woman 22, Batman and Robin Year 1, issue 8, Titans 24, New Gods 7, Zatanna number 5, Iron Man number 9, Psylocke number 8, West Coast Avengers number 8, Emma Frost and the White Queen number 1, and Bring On the Bad Guys Doom number 1 as well, Gwenpool number 2, Blood and Thunder number 2, Power Man Timeless number 4, Bytchcraft issue 1, So the Superdog number 1, and there was another one. They Chose Violence issue number 1.
That's right. You did read that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. What did you? Whoa! First thing, that's a crazy list. You eclipsed me.
Right?
You eclipsed me this week, and that is kudos to you.
Yes.
There was a lot on my list this week, and I didn't get to everything, but it is what it is. What did you want to read this week that you didn't get a chance to read?
That's a good one. So the ones I did to read that I wanted to read was definitely I think Iron Man number 9, not Iron Man number 9. What was the one I didn't do? Not Ultimates. No, yeah, Iron Man number 9. Yeah, for sure. Iron Man number 1 was the one I didn't get to read. I think was the one. I think. Yeah.
I mean, you also didn't read Ultimates number 13 though, right?
Thank you. Yeah, Ultimates number 13 I didn't get to read, but I'm in and out. I haven't read like the whole series yet, so like I'm like in and out of it. I was like, you know what? If I miss it, I'm okay.
Yeah. By the way, your mic is brushing up either against your shirt or your beard.
So. It's definitely my beard. Thank you.
we gotta work on that. Not on your.
We're gonna work on it,
but on the audio setup.
Yeah.
All right, for sure. Sorry, right now audio is good, but things got frozen. Okay, so what did I read? Oof, not as much as you, and not as much as I normally do. But Absolute Flash number 4, Nightwing 127, The Ultimates 13, Batman Superman World's Finest 40, X-Men 18, Batman and Robin Year 1 number 8, The Avengers 27, Aliens vs. Avengers 4, Titans 24, Superman Unlimited number 2, Exquisite Corpses number 2, that was a Image title, Emma Frost, The White Queen number 1, Krypto, The Last Dog of Krypton number 1, a little bit of Bring on the Bad Guys Doom number 1, but I didn't get to finish it, Jeff the Land Shark number 1, and that might be it. I think that's
okay.
It. Now, if you're asking me what I wish I read, like I was dying to read and I just didn't get to it, G.I. Joe number 8, Bug Wars, what issue is Bug Wars? Bug Wars number 5 I didn't get to. Gwenpool number 2, because Gwenpool number 1 was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious on how they pull that off, but yeah. I mean, there's a lot. Battle Beast number 2, that was from the Invincible universe.
Oh yeah.
So like there were a good amount of books that like I wish I read that I didn't get to by Showtime, and it is what it is. We live and we learn. I'm curious, man. Let me know what your pick of the week is. It's just me and you. We're gonna have 2 picks of the week. And we'll go over everything else that we read.
Let's do it. Okay. So my picks of the week.
You get one pick of the week right now.
Don't
be trying to squeeze as much out of it. You get one pick of the week.
Bet. Okay. Thank you. Okay. See, you know me. You know me so well. My pick of the week this week is definitely going to be Bytchcraft issue number 1. Definitely.
Okay. So first things first, before you talk about it, because I got questions. This is Bytchcraft issue number 1 from Mad Cave Studios. Now, Mad Cave Studios, it's not DC, it's not Marvel, it's not Image. It's one of the independent comic publishers out there. And I've been hearing a lot more about Mad Cave Studios lately. With all the different things they have an upcoming Speed Racer comic that's coming out soon. And why did you want to read Bytchcraft? Was it just the name Bytchcraft?
Honestly, that's what first drew me in. I'm not gonna lie, but I ended up staying once I read it and I saw the cover. So the story is about queer characters, and it's black, it's queer, it's magic. It just was so good. Now I'm gonna just give it a try just for the culture. It's Pride Month and it's Juneteenth. I might as well just give it the old college try and like see what's up. And I was not disappointed in the least. Actually, very much that I read it.
It's really funny because
do you want me to give you a little synopsis of what?
Yeah. But what I thought was really interesting is that your 3 most hyped comics of the week were so you.
Yep.
And like it was so you. Like your three hyped comics of the week were Emma Frost White Queen #1, Avengers 27, and Bytchcraft #1.
Yep.
And if somebody
Yeah.
had just looked at those three comics, I think they could have cloned you from scratch. You know what I mean?
Very much so. That's the recipe. That's honestly the recipe of my whole like personality. Just Emma Frost, Bytchcraft, and Avengers. It made sense. It just that's me in like in a nutshell, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. I think it's funny. Tell
You
me
know me
about the
too damn well.
premise.
Yeah.
Tell me about the premise of the book, because um, I'm interested, and I also want to know if it's good. Because when it comes to
Yeah.
books that I'm not reading, new titles, if it's characters that I don't
Yeah.
know, if it's like a new start for something, and I'm not attached to
Same.
these characters, it takes a lot for me to like read a book. But
Yeah.
normally I
Me too.
wait for a recommendation. So, like, tell me all about it.
Yeah, I bet. So it's literally about these three queer witches, Adriel, Michelle, and M. And it's basically their coven who's training in their magic. And one day they try to do this like unification spell, and they end up eclipsing the moon. And then while they do it, what they don't know is during the eclipse, I guess the witches are more powerful, and but it sends the world into like imbalance. And while they're doing it, the world's veil between like natural and supernatural are thin, so anything can come through. And through this, like they literally end up seeing a black unicorn, which I mean, the irony was not lost on me. And I was like, these three queer characters find this black unicorn, and they say, this it's a very rare occurrence that you ever see one. And they're even more rare of a creature. So then they start to think if that got through, other things can get through. So like they're basically trying to be the trying to dispel their spell before anything else can get through. But like by the end of the book, like they see like this evil kind of pastor, kind of like she's kind of like a reverend, and she ends up rapturing her whole church, and like ends up doing some kind of spell or incantation on all like magical witches around the like city, and they end up harming themselves with their own powers. And then like the story just ends until book one. I'm until book two, and I was like, oh, I need to see what's going on with this. And like it was like Aaron Reese, the guy who made it, well, the person who made it, they go by they them, Aaron Reese. They did a really good job on that, and the art was really good. I think the art was drawn by Lima Carroll. It was honestly the best book, and it had the best kind of jokes. It usually like I'd be like, okay, this is too much, but I gathered from like the conversations that they were talking about, like it's a Brit, they're in Britain, because one of the things it says one of them hates their tea microwaved, and I'm like, oh, this is a British thing. I don't know why that did it for me. I was like, this is obviously British, and then they kept saying babes, and I was like, yeah, this is the book. And how I knew it was the book for me was what they were going to go out to like a magical nightclub, and one of them says, I'm going to throw my ass in a pentagram. That sent me, and I was like, that's that's the best thing I ever heard in the comic. And I was like, yeah, I'm here for it.
I mean, that's great. Like you said, it is Pride Month. It is Juneteenth today. And
you
so,
know?
like, it's like the stars are aligning for this book.
Yeah, it did. It did. They put their ducks in a row on this one. I don't know if they planned this. I feel like they planned the Pride Month, but I don't know if they planned Juneteenth. And it was that was the perfect thing to read.
Yeah. Have you read anything else from Mad Cave Studios? Because I've been hearing more about them,
No.
and like I don't want to be dismissive of
Yeah.
of comic companies that are like fairly new or whatever. I think
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
really like I think a rising tide, you know, uh, you know, uh, lifts all ships, right? But like
Very much so.
I don't know what else they do.
Yeah, I haven't found anything else from them, or nothing else has popped out at me from them. So I don't know. But now I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to be paying attention to them now. Definitely,
Yeah,
I'm going to be
I'm
seeing
looking
what
it
they
up
got.
because, like, for any Speed Racer fans, I know for a fact there's a new Speed Racer comic that's coming out. If any, like,
Hmm.
with like it's like an American adaptation sort of situation. But they also do the Flash
Okay,
Gordon comic. Um,
I saw that.
if there's one thing you need to know about me, I love IP because it's easier, and maybe this is why there's a problem out there with like remakes and reboots and whatever. It's because people like me, and this is just most people, they want to see something familiar, right? Like if you're gonna get invested in something, you're gonna get invested
Yeah,
in something familiar, right? So IP is
for
like
sure.
super powerful, right? So these comic companies will buy the IP or buy the rights to
Hmm.
do the IP and create it, unlike Bytchcraft, which is a completely original story, right?
Yeah, yeah. Right. I
So
think it was adapted from. I think it was a book first, and I think they made it into comics.
really, okay, okay. That's it. I mean,
Yeah, I think it was a novel first.
that's a good pick for pick of the week. So, all right. Um,
Yeah, it
I'm
took
trying to figure out
it.
what my pick of the week is, and that is it's a problem. It's a
Hmm.
problem because there are some key ones that I was surprised that would make it or wouldn't make it.
Mm,
I mean, for the sake of the
I'm
show, we
intrigued.
gotta move on. So I'm gonna say it's X-Men 18. I'm just gonna say X-Men 18. Um,
I knew you were going to say that. For some reason, I knew you were going to say. I knew you were going to say it to the T.
well, I was gonna say Krypto, the last dog of Krypton. Um,
Mhm.
because I
Yeah, because you got
love
me into that one.
I love Krypto, and I just in general like I love Krypto. I'm a dog person, right? And so Krypto was going to be on it,
Mm,
and there's no fault with Krypto. My big thing about X-Men 18 is the fact that I was un it's been picking up. Like it started off kind of slow for me as a longtime X-Men fan,
yeah.
but like
Hmm.
it pulled off this issue where I'm like, okay, now we're cooking, you know? Like it was super important.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
like,
That's
you know?
it. Took a slow burn. It was a slow burn at first. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I I read it, then I stopped for a minute. But then like once like the story started going and like we started like actually getting like a good storyline, it picked up really good. Like the whole Piper Cobb thing, the random girl who was out of their I guess headquarters,
Yeah.
like didn't know where that was gonna go. And then it came to this crescendo at the last two issues, and I'm like, okay, this made sense. And with the characters they used for it, it completely made sense. Especially like the Cassandra and Psylocke of it all being the ones who like really go after her and her twin and stuff. We'll get into it once you talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, all X-Men books, it's a strength and a weakness where they have so many characters. And I love it that they have so many characters because I know the characters. So even if you get me a
Right.
couple of good like panels of characters with like some character moments, I'm happy. Now, for everybody else,
Yeah.
maybe 20 characters is a little too much, right? Like there's a lot going on with X-Men comics in general. So it can be tough
Yeah.
sometimes. But for me, I need to see a full team book, right? And like see characters
Yeah.
have their moments,
Exactly.
but also push the
Exactly.
big, whatever they're trying to push, the big story, the big event, whatever. I need to see them move the story
Yes.
forward. With this, we
Hmm.
got some moments and I thought it was cool, and I think that Piper being the mutant twin of a non-mutant that was then like kind of absorbed, kind of like Cassandra was
Right.
with
Right.
Xavier. Cassandra Nova
Exactly.
was absorbed in the womb or like killed in the womb, right, by Xavier.
Right.
There's that
By
whole
Xavier.
thing.
Hmm.
Piper Cobb, or no, Piper Cobb and Robin Cobb. That's who it
Robin.
is.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, That was like important and like okay, cool. And it's also kind of cool for Cassandra Nova to see something similar to
Yes.
her experience turn out
Yes.
a little bit different, you know?
Exactly. Oh my gosh, exactly. You said the words right out of my came out of my glasses.
Yeah.
Like it was definitely that. Like it was her being like going having to nurture or being a having this protege who was kind of her in reverse. Like Xavier was the mutant and she was the non-mutant, but technically she's a mutant, which is confusing within itself. But
Yeah.
like yeah, like having to mentor this girl who like literally has the same thing growing inside this person's mind and not being able to do anything until her mutant power was active, and then like the other person, the opposing side on the good side was Psylocke, who also has had an issue with being trapped in someone's body and not being able to do anything and like control and having no control over her body. And like we kind of see it from both sides of them trying to help her find a way through that kind of. But I'm not gonna lie, the breakout star for me in this one was Ben, the new mutant who has the reality warping power to like some of those UFOs and stuff.
Yeah.
The who ended up being gay, which I was like, okay, I'm okay with this, and who made a joke about him being attracted to older men and being attracted to Magneto, which I don't know why, but I was like, this I love this. This is amazing. This is funny.
Yeah. That's the cool thing about X-Men because it's been around for decades. There's been so many characters. Like, no one, even though they're all their unique, like, stories and whatever for these characters,
Yeah.
right? Their unique set of trauma. There's still somebody on the X-Men that has something similar happen to them after all this time, right?
Yes.
So you will never be alone if you're a mutant, right? Like never
Exactly.
truly. The only way you're truly alone is if you turn your back on mutant kind, right? Like
Right.
because you're not gonna survive out there. Like muties out there in humans world, like they don't do very well, you know?
Right. Exactly. Especially by yourself. No, you need your community.
Right. And so it's kind of funny because in this issue of X-Men, the bad guys start fighting amongst themselves because they are ex-Orcus, but Orcus
Yes.
was kind of like a conglomeration of different like Shield and what did they say?
Aim.
AIM,
Aim
Shield, and then Strike also like
yeah, strike.
and
Yeah.
they started kind of turning on themselves because AIM was not Shield, but they both came
Right.
together to make Orcus.
Yeah.
And so it's
Which
like
is
kind of
crazy.
interesting that way,
Mm-hmm.
like
And
even though
I
they're mutants or whatever, they have powers, they are
right.
alone because they turn their back on them.
Exactly. And like that's one thing I find what I find ironic about it is the fact that these ex agents decided to make themselves mutants. And not only that, but embrace the fact that they're mutants, like talking like and like really giving like the X-Men shit for like helping flat scans and doing all this stuff to protect humans when in actuality you were a flat scan just 5 minutes ago. Like
Yeah,
you were right there wearing the same shoes that these guys were, and now all of a sudden you're pro mutant and like they're not just like for it. They are 10 toes to the ground on like we're gonna stand for mutant kind, but in a different way. And I'm like, I'm excited to see where they go with the 3K group of
yeah,
like mutants who are in there, and I kind of want to see who's in it, like who's fully in this, like
yeah. Well, what I thought was interesting about that whole thing is
because
like a couple issues ago, Magneto was the one to say that it doesn't matter whether you're a natural mutant or not.
yeah,
If you are still a mutant, you're a mutant.
or
He's
maybe
not going to split everybody up
exactly,
with this weird, like, essentially blood quantum sort of stuff, right? Like this
yeah,
idea that like you're not a true
exactly.
XYZ unless you do ABC, and it's like nah, like we're
This
we're a
right,
group,
or you
we're all in
have
this
this,
together, unless you turn your back on others, and then you
yes,
start like
that
splitting people up, you know. So
right.
I think that is
There's no
super.
right. There's no nitpicking.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, for people who can read
Yeah,
between the lines, that's, important. But for people who,
it very
are taking this at face value.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
Maybe you don't get it. You know? Yeah.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those if you know type things. Because I definitely agree with you. Which I was very surprised that Magneto would have been the one to say that. Like, oh, it doesn't matter if you're born or made mutant, you're still a mutant. And like, I think he said something around the fact like it doesn't matter what kind of mutant you are, what how you're made. They're going to only see you as mutant. So you are a mutant, and it's kind of the same thing. I mean, if you like, it's the same thing as being black or anything. If they see you as that, they're going to just see you as black. And and that goes with any race or anything else, or like any measure of sexuality. Like if they see you as that, that's the one thing they're going to see you as. So you have to accept that fact. And I love that he's the one kind of, you can see in this book that Magneto's views on things have significantly changed, and we see the changes being implemented in this book. Actually, like he's a perfect little mixture of him and the Professor.
It worked. It's exactly what the X-Men need right now, right? But you know what's also what the X-Men need right now is Cyclops, and Cyclops was being smart about things, right? Like in this book, he was like, let them.
Yes.
He was like, I've been on this team long enough to know, like, Wolverine comes in, people fight amongst themselves, you become weaker when you're with another group. Like, let the 3K group fight amongst themselves and then capitalize on it. And the others were like, should we jump in now? Should we jump in now? Should we jump in now? He's like, wait for it.
What are we going to do?
You know?
Yes. But okay, now go. That's exactly what happened. And like and this book really does like capitalize on like I hate to give him credit because I've famously have hated Cyclops for like a long time, but like it proves that it proves that Scott is that guy. Like it proves that Scott is him. He's Timothy. Like he gets shit done in a way that like I very much appreciated. This like before, like he used to be very like soft-headed with certain things, but now he's like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. This is what I'm telling you. If you don't like it, this is what's gonna happen. And like he's not standing down on it. Like he has learned everything from like Charles and Magneto, like in the perfect way. He's the perfect little combination of them. Which, in side note, I finally caught up on all my comics, on my X-Men comics, and I saw the farewell that Xavier did in Manhunt. I cried.
Yeah.
I don't know why I had to say that. That broke my heart, but I was also happy.
Something that's really interesting about the way they're writing Cyclops now versus the way they used to is very similar to, in real life, bad leaders versus good leaders, right? The idea that, like, you have to have a disciplined group is good. You have to have discipline. You have to have order. Mm-hmm. But what bad leaders do is they get pedantic. You know what I mean? Like, they get very specific for no purpose other than to be specific is a show of order, a show of force, a show of authority, right? Scott used to be, Scott being Cyclops, right? Scott used to be pedantic in his strict, it's like a parent who is strict for safety concerns, understandable. But parents who say, you listen to me, why? Because I'm me, and you do, if I say you jump, you say how high, that is pedantic.
Right. Because I said so.
Yeah. It's not that when I say jump, you jump, and they're like, why should I do that? And it's like, look, there are going to be dangers around you, and I'm looking out for you. You have to be able to trust me. I trust you. When I say jump, you can jump, and then ask me why later.
It's for a reason.
I will tell you, you know? But sometimes when shit goes down, you can't ask questions. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, you just got to trust the process.
Yeah, Cyclops is a better leader now because he's not as pedantic, you know?
Yes, and he's very more willing to, like, before he just seemed like a cuck who was trying to be an alpha, but now he's very much like on it, and like he's not afraid to let go of the reins to let somebody else lead when they need to. Like he's very much a way better leader than he was. Like, especially during those schism days with him and Wolverine.
Yeah, exactly. What's another book that you want to talk about as we pick up the
Ooh,
pace? But those are our
right,
two. Those
right.
were our two picks of the week. But there were a lot of good books out this week that I.
There were some good books. I was into it. Um, yeah, we can let's talk a little bit about the. I can start by the top. The Avengers 27.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
yeah.
Like,
I love this. I
oh,
love this issue.
have you read that one?
Yeah, yeah. I read it. You can
Good.
talk about it though. I'm
Yes.
gonna. I'm
Yes.
gonna eat
Oh,
quietly
nice.
while we
Oh
talk.
no. Okay, bad. Like, this one was really good. Like, finally the Black Panther finally gets back from the other world of the Meridian
Yeah,
diadem, which I
yeah.
finally remember the name. Thank God. Uh, and like, we're finally getting to see him come out of that, and instantly the first person he sees is Sam Wilson, which I'm loving the relationship that they develop with those two. Like, the fact that these enemies to frenemies, to friends kind of thing that they're going into, and just them like working together to defeat Dr. Hyde. It was a really good it was a good start for me. And I didn't say this before, but I'm fucking with Captain America's new costume, Sam Wilson's new costume though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
oh, were you gonna say something?
oh no. I was gonna say just about his shield too. Like, his shield is his I like they differentiated his shield a little bit more with the blue line on the outside, to like show like, yes, it's not Steve's shield.
What I like about what writers have been doing lately with Sam Wilson and T'Challa is a lesser writer would make them best friends because they're black.
Because of black. Yes.
But
Yes.
like a good writer, as whoever was writing the previous Sam Wilson book, not the one with the Red Hulk, but the one before that dealt with T'Challa and
Yeah.
Wakanda, is
Mhm.
the complicated, nuanced relationship. And I can't talk
Yes.
directly about this, right? Like, I can talk indirectly of my own experiences, can't talk directly about
Mhm.
this, but the relationship between African Americans and Africans. And then there's sort of a pan Africanism that's involved
Yes.
between the two. So there's layers
Yes.
to it. A lesser writer is just going to be like, nah, they're best buddies because they're black. But
Right.
the nuance is there, and I think it also plays a part in their relationship on the Avengers as well.
Exactly. It's very much that. I do love they play into that, and Jed McKay isn't scared to lean into it, like, of their relationship. And they have a legitimate reason to not like each other because of what's going on. It's not just some pedantic little reason as to, whatever. But I do like the fact that, like, he just like showed like, yeah, we're not all friends, or we don't have to be friends automatically because we're the only black people. Like, it's a relationship. Like, we feel like when we see them, we see that their friendship is earned, instead of just like, oh, we're black, so we're going to be friends together. Because that's not always the case. Like, I have been in many a case where I have been one of two or three black people, and I couldn't stand one or two of the other black people. So like, I love that they were able to like go into that and like jump into it without it feeling, forced or kind of pandering. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And like, I love that they just, we gradually see them go like grow a friendship.
Yeah, yeah. This is a good issue. Another great issue that we both read
Yeah.
was Krypto, right? I told you about it. I was like,
Yeah.
you got to read this one, and you read
Yeah.
it.
Definitely. You wrote me literally. Yeah. Well, you wrote me. You was like, check out Krypto, and I was like, fuck it. I was like already reading. And I was like, you know what? That's gonna be my next read.
Yeah,
And literally, I read it, and I was very surprised about how much I liked it. It reminded me of that book that you
Stray
recommended to me.
Dogs,
The Strays thing?
Stray Dogs, or Feral.
Yeah, Stray Dogs. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that for some reason. Yeah. No, Stray Dogs. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of that because, like, we see it through the dog's eyes, but we're seeing what's happening around him as well. And like, I thought that was a very smart thing to do for the Krypto book. Like, we get to see like what happened and how he got here, because like that was always one of my points of contention. I never knew how he got to Earth, or like what like made him like, or how all of a sudden like he's just there without being on the like ship with Kal-El.
Yeah.
But this story I thought was really good. They did a good job of like showing what's happening around him while also centering it on Krypto through his point of view.
Yeah. I mean, every Krypto adaptation is a little bit different, right? Not all Superman adaptations include Krypto, but lately Krypto's had a sort of resurgence. They do different things, just like different adaptations deal with Supergirl in a different way, because we all know that like baby Kal-El, his origin story getting off of Krypton and whatnot, right? So when you throw in Supergirl and Krypto, you start wondering like, so there was just a bunch of ships that got off Krypton? Like, how does that work?
Exactly.
So with
like,
this book,
so many questions.
This book is the comic origin, right? But like,
yes.
if you ever saw the animated movie DC League of Super Pets, in that movie, Krypto gets into the ship with Kal-El as they go together. So he has a companion his whole life. In different things like Krypto comes later or gets stuck in a wormhole or whatever. I think that's what they're doing here, because in this book, what was cool about this is Krypto is the test subject that they didn't think they were going to lose Krypto, and it was really sad when they do. But he gets stuck in a wormhole and he lands on Earth around the time like Lex is in his teens, because why I say Lex is he finds Lex Luthor first, which is crazy. It's crazy.
I thought that was insane. Right. Look here, the 6 degrees of separation that's between Clark and Lex is crazy. The connections that they you like as a reader end up seeing, like these two have been connected since they were kids. Like there have been little moments, and this was one of those moments. I'm happy. I'm ready now. I'm mad at you because now I got to see what happens in the next issue, because I'm like, I have to know how he ends up leaving this boy, and how he like I was like because there's so many. I have so many questions now, because I'm like, do you still remember Krypto? What does he show his powers around you? Like what's the formula here?
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. I don't know if you noticed, but Krypto lands during the nighttime on Earth, and he doesn't have powers because of it.
He doesn't have his powers. Yes.
So
I thought I was the only one who recognized that. Yeah.
Yeah. So when he meets Lex, he's just a normal dog. So chances are Lex loses him at some point real quick, and he's just a dog that Lex met, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
right.
What I also thought was kind of cool is that there is still a human element in this comic, which is different than, and I'll talk about it next, is Jeff the Land Shark issue #1, where it's not just like Krypto talking to other animals or whatever, but it's also not Krypto being silent the whole time and like everybody's silent and it's like this like nobody's talking. But in this, I don't know if you noticed with the balloons, the speech bubbles, it's at first I wasn't sure. Yeah, it's faded when they're not talking about him, but it's bolded when they're talking about him, because as a dog,
we're talking directly to him.
Yeah, as a dog, he's paying attention to his name.
Yes.
He's paying attention to who's saying words that he knows. Those are trigger words for a dog. And so when Jor-El and Lara are talking about like Krypton exploding, he's not paying attention. He's ADD. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing about a dog.
Yeah.
It's like that's what they're gonna do.
That's white noise to him.
Yeah. So I thought that's an interesting thing about this book. I thought it was like brilliantly done, and it's written by Ryan North, who is writing the Fantastic Four book for Marvel. So this is Krypto for DC, and Ryan North is writing for both. And Ryan North knows science fiction. He knows how to make it work. He knows people and emotions and whatnot. Ryan North is very talented, so shout out, you know.
Right. Yeah, that was a good book. I was very impressed about that. I did love like the conversation that we got to see of Jor-El and his wife, and then get to see them dealing with it. But when they realized what was happening with his thing, and they had to say goodbye, and they were like, when they were talking to each other, like, keep him calm, just act like nothing's wrong. And then they were talking to him like, hey, you're a good boy. And I was like, oh no, don't tell me.
I was so sad.
I was like, my eyes were literally welding up. I was like, no, don't tell me they lose him.
Here's the thing: is a lot of the time with Superman adaptations, we don't see much of Krypton, and we almost get treated to Krypton as just the thing that has to happen before we get to the story that we really care about.
Exactly.
But a good Krypton story shows us like what we've lost.
Yes.
And this is something that like Absolute Superman is showing us. It's something that this book is showing us. We see sometimes like Superman go back into the past and go to Krypton. Like the idea that a world exploded is not a small thing. We lost the world and culture and people of Krypton. And in this book, we also see that Krypton has a bunch of dogs. So even if you don't care about care about the Kryptonian people, maybe if you care about dogs, I was sad to know that all these people died.
Yeah. Yeah. When you get to see them like living their lives and just doing everyday things, and then you're like, oh wait, these people are gone. Like we're just seeing a flashback of these like random things, but like all the like this great civilization, which it seems like an amazing civilization until that, and then we just like we know we lose them, and then we're invested in it. That's why I thought that show Krypton was a good thing, because like it made me invested in Krypton and like actually give a fuck about it. Yeah. Like that was also shout out to Krypton. That was low key a great show.
I liked Krypton as a show. I really did. I didn't originally. I didn't.
Yeah.
And I didn't even give it a shot because I thought it looked dumb. And then I watched it and I was like, oh damn, never mind. Like, okay, there were some twists and turns there.
Oh my god! First of all, General Zod and Kal-El being brothers is half brothers.
It was Jor-El and Zod being brothers.
That's what. Oh, Jor-El is the one. Oh, yeah. You're right.
It's Jor-El because the grandfather is Zod's father.
Yes. Okay. I don't know why I thought the main guy was Jor-El again. It's been so long since I've seen that show.
It's Jor-El. Because
it's Jor-El.
Yeah, because he ends up having 2 kids, and Zod is technically the kid out of love.
Yes, which is crazy. That's the part that got me the most. I was like, this is the one that he actually like gave a fuck about, and
is that girl?
He's the evil one. Yeah, like, and I'm like, yeah, that was insane to me. But also, I was like, oh, I want to see what happens here. I need more. I wanted to do more seasons, but you know,
it only went 2 seasons, I think.
2 seasons, I think. Yeah, then when we finally got Lobo into it, all of a sudden,
I liked Lobo.
Nothing.
I liked Lobo.
I loved him. They did a great casting on Lobo. The main man was really good on that one.
Yeah. All right, so we got to move on to really quick reviews of everything, right? So. I mentioned Jeff the Land Shark. I know you didn't read it, but lately what Marvel's been doing is doing Infinity Comics and then compiling the Infinity Comics into a physical comic. But that's not what they did here. Mm-hmm. Both Jeff the Land Shark and there was another book. Basically, this is an actual miniseries, a comic miniseries. When I say actual, I'm not dissing on Infinity Comics. It's just a different thing. This is first to the comic shops. A classic comic, and I loved this book. Basically, the premise of this, Jeff is so cute. Basically, what happens is, I think something magical and bad happens, where his shadow becomes an actual shark shadow monster, and he has to get his shadow back. And there's a lot of guest stars in this comic. It's cuter than Krypto, but I think Krypto issue number 1 is better, but this one was good too.
Okay, respectfully. Okay.
Yeah. What else did you read? quick thoughts about everything.
Quick little one. New Gods number 7. I thought it was really good. I need to. I haven't read all of them, but I've been wanting a book. I've been also low key like a big fan of like New Gods, and I've been wanting them to do a book of this. And I think they're doing a really good job on this book, trying to find their new kind of quote unquote new god that's on Earth and finding this prophecy. And like we find out that the prophecy was made by like I think Metron to try to get the new gods to evolve more and to actually like not be stagnant. And seeing this play out in how the new gods basically, it kind of reminds me of the Marvel point when Asgard moved to Earth.
Yeah.
And it's because it's kind of like the new gods have lost their home, so they're now like relocating on Earth, and like the Justice League are standing for them as like the refugees of this place. And I love they stood on business and was like, and Jon Stewart was like, no, this is the right thing to do instead of just like making them leave like the governments wanted them to. I thought it was a really good book.
Yeah. I fell off a couple issues ago, so I am not up to speed on that. But what I am up to speed on is Titans 24. Did you like it?
Oh, yes, I did like it. I'm liking this whole that whole little series. I haven't read like a good Titans book in a minute, and this was a good book to come into. Yeah, I thought that was really good.
My only criticism of this book, and I love this book, the art, the writing, and everything, is that sometimes writers, including this one, will write Beast Boys dialogue, and it'll be kind of like forced humor. And maybe if that's what you're going for, like maybe if the idea is that Beast Boy isn't naturally funny, he is just forced humor and memes and that sort of thing, like sure. But at the same, like if that's what you're going for, great. But I thought it was a little forced.
Cool,
but
right.
I'm loving the return of Terra, and the crime syndicate. It's a pretty good book.
Right? It's pretty good. I was very surprised that they brought Terra back. I always wanted them to like bring Terra back and but I want them to keep Terra back because I'm like she would be a great foil for them, like as a permanent villain. Like if Deathstrike can stay alive, then she can stay alive.
Yeah. Also, Roy and Donna getting closer and closer.
I love them together. Honestly, I've loved them together since their like original Titans book.
Yeah,
like y'all know I'm a big Donna fan, and I've always loved them as an item. Her and Roy, they both lost kids. They both understand each other. It makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So, Absolute Flash. Did you read this one or not?
You
didn't read Absolute Flash number 4?
No.
Okay. So, Absolute Flash 1, 2, and 3, those were like the beginning of the arc, and it was just an origin kind of story. This is a new beginning, like for the new arc, and this is more of what I want Absolute Flash to be. So, this is my favorite issue of Absolute Flash. That's all I can say. They introduce they introduce a bunch of new Absolute characters, or at least hint at them, including Absolute Linda Park, and I thought it's cute. And I love Absolute Grodd, and that's all I can say.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued to know the synopsis of this book. It sounds kind of interesting.
Did you read Amazing Spider-Man 6?
Yeah, I read it. I like it. I'm liking this little series. I've only read like probably 2 or 3 issues from this series. But I thought it was really good. Like it had a good little story to it, honestly.
Okay. Who was it? John Romita Jr. doing the inside art, or was he just doing the cover?
I think he just the cover, right?
Okay. I wasn't sure if the same artist is it still I forget the artist. Why am I forgetting the artist? Because I've brought him up before.
I know it's not Pepe Larraz. I know that was the first book.
Let's see.
I know he.
Oh, it is JR. It is John Romita Jr. on the inside art. Love this issue. I have my opinions. I didn't read this book, so I read the one before it. And I like the artist before it. Pepe Larraz. So Pepe Larraz did the art before this, but
that's my favorite artist of all time, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's my favorite artist.
Okay. You read Wonder Woman 22, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You got quick thoughts? I didn't read this one.
It was. I can only give you quick thoughts on it.
Yeah.
It was cute. It was like a filler. It was a filler episode. It was like a flashback to of like when her and Steve Rogers first got together, and like their whole like first time, I guess, having sex, I guess, and like the day after, like she had to go off and do like basically fight mice in the White House.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it shows like I guess there's a connection because the guy who is sent to the mouse man who's controlling all the mice, he ends up being a part of the guy's plan who's have you read any of the new Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
Okay, so the old guy who's behind the conglomerate like Shadow Cabal is basically a plan for him, and I guess it'll make sense later on in the next issue, I guess, of what he's planned. But like I guess that past problem will become something in the future. But it was cute. It was just cute. I wasn't impressed.
Cool. We got to move on. Let's hit everything that we got to hit. Batman and Robin Year One has been amazing. But
it was really good.
It's also like I like reading it week to week, but it's also gonna I think be even better as like a full graphic novel. This is issue number 8 because I started this issue and I forgot about the last issue and what happened. Because then I got confused. I was like, "Oh, it's a whole Clayface thing." I forgot about Clayface.
Right.
I thought this was a solid issue. Like this could have been the pick of the week.
Yeah, this was a really good issue. Like the little flashback of him and the thing of him of Dick picking up the gun and like trying to scare the robber.
Yeah.
And then Bruce like going off on him because like it's his like because of his trauma of the thing. And I love that. Like usually, you know, I've said it once or twice on this podcast, but I hate that we always refer back to the pearls in the alleyway.
Yeah.
But I love that they use this as a flash panel of like his trauma response to him picking up the gun and him like going off the handle. I thought that was a really smart thing to do.
All right, cool. We need 10-second synopses of all these. Emma Frost, White Queen, issue number 1. It takes place in the past. I liked it. And that cover art is pure cheesecake.
Yeah, that's fuck. Yeah, for sure. It was a really good issue. It was a nice little flashback issue because it kind of like showed the other side of what happened on this. Because I think this is definitely mirroring one of their like infiltrations of it. So like, I thought it was good.
All right. It's like we don't have much time to talk about the nitty-gritty because we spent all our time talking at the top. So. Zatanna number 5 from DC Comics.
Pretty good issue. And I love I love her magic with words. It was a nice little issue. I don't know how to explain it in little words, but yeah, it was good.
All right, for sure. I have fallen behind on Psylocke. Did you read Psylocke number 8?
Yes. Psylocke was also good. I'm loving the development with her and John Greycrow, her boo thing, and her little sidekick. Yeah, like they're a good little trio. But having Greycrow having to come and help Psylocke was a pretty good little episode. Good little issue.
All right. Did you read West Coast Avengers 8?
Yes. I like that. I'm loving the new Ultron, and I'm waiting to see what more happens with him. Like I'm so scared. Like every issue, I'm scared he's gonna turn evil, and I'm like, this is gonna be the moment, guys. Like, but he's still like they're helping out the thing, but we kind of get like a little bit more of Firestar, and I like that we kind of see that she's still struggling with after Krakoa, and we find out that she has an alcohol addiction, which she's an alcoholic, which I thought was kind of wild. But I want to see what happens, where it goes.
Okay. All right. I'll talk real. No, I think you got a couple more. Bring on the Bad Guys Doom. It's a one shot, but it's a series of one shots focusing on different villains. Was this real quick? Was this good? And are you looking forward to the series of one shots?
It was good. I don't know if I'm looking forward to the rest of the series. It depends on the villain, I guess. But I thought it was a good little issue showing him, Dr. Doom.
Okay. Cool. Just to let you know the lineup for Bring On the Bad Guys, it's Dormammu, Green Goblin, Loki, Mephisto, Red Skull,
Oh shit.
and Abomination. So these are big,
That
heavy
sounds
hitters.
amazing. I'm gonna read the rest of it. Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Okay. All right. Um, you read Power Man Timeless?
Yeah, that was a good one. It was a good little issue. I'm intrigued. I want to see him and Luke Cage meet. Maybe I missed that in the first 3 issues, but like him and like he got put into our universe, and we're gonna see like and the see him like trying to fight this bad guy, and we see him fight the Void, well, the other version of himself. But we see him beat the Void, which the Sentry has rarely ever done. So
Yeah.
I like that. I like the issue.
Okay. Cool. I think that's everything that you read. I'm just gonna go real quick with what I read. I was a little bit disappointed by Aliens vs. Avengers #4. It would have been my pick of the week. It was my most hyped comic, but it didn't deliver on what I wanted. There are some real cool moments in this, but I feel like Jonathan Hickman probably wanted to write a longer thing and not just 4 issues. But this is the end of the story. Like it ends in this issue, and I was like, I
Mm.
thought this was at least going to be like a 6 issue run at
Right.
least. But like, no, it ends at 4, and it just kind of wraps
Hmm.
certain things up, and then it also doesn't wrap up anything. Like they're just like, oh, okay, we solved this problem. There's still a greater problem, and it stops. And it's been like 6 months between this book and the last issue. Like we waited this long for it to finish, and that was it. So
That was
kind
it.
of a letdown, you know?
Mm.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Batman Superman World's Finest, issue number 40. This one was a cool issue. I was more interested in Commissioner Gordon and Perry White's relationship, but Batman has a huge mecha suit that he fights a kaiju with. So classic adventures of this, this sort of thing takes
Mm.
place in the past. It was cool. Not much to talk about though. Ultimates number 13, also not much to talk about. Takes place in the new Ultimate Marvel Universe. It's moving. There are certain Ultimates issues where like a lot happens, and there's certain issues where not much at all happens. And this was
Right.
not much at all. So okay, fine.
um.
Nightwing 127. I read it. Did you read it?
No.
Okay. I like it. This is a setup to something bigger. Not much more to talk about other than his half sister Melinda. Something's wrong with her, and so they're trying to figure that out. And we'll see how it goes.
Wait, Dick has a half sister?
You haven't read this run?
Hell no.
What?
What?
Yeah,
No.
she got
I do
introduced.
not.
I think she got introduced in the Tom Taylor run. Yeah, you haven't read the Tom
Huh.
Taylor run?
I haven't read the Tom Taylor run. No.
Oh, the Tom. Everybody was talking about the Tom Taylor run. That was like,
Everyone loves the Tom Taylor run. And yeah, I never got to read it. I was like, I'm gonna read one, and then
all
I
right.
just never did it up.
Aaron, I'm gonna find out the first issue that you should start on, which is like the first issue
Okay.
of Tom Taylor run. I'm gonna tell it to you, and
Okay.
I'll look it up and I'll let you know. You gotta have
Yeah.
that read for next time, all right? You
All
gotta
right.
binge this shit.
Okay.
I
Yes,
also
sir.
know you're gonna
You're
love
right.
it. You know?
Yeah.
I,
I've read like 1 or 2 issues from it, and I'm like, this is pretty good, but
yeah,
then I just
yeah.
never.
I got a real quick Superman Unlimited number 2. It's a new Superman series. I think they added kind of this new reflex power of his. Don't have much time to get into it, but like I'll talk about it next time. It's interesting. What I really wanted to end this episode on is Exquisite Corpses issue number 2. Now,
I
it takes a
almost read that
lot.
one.
It takes a lot for me to like get into a new book, but this book was recommended by a bunch of people. So I read issue 1, then I read issue 2 this week. The name is not necessarily what the book's about. This book is like a reality competition show for serial killers. Like that's the like Exquisite
Okay.
Corpses just makes it sound like a horror book, and it is kind of horror, but it is basically every state. I think every state in America has one serial killer that gets, or like serial killer slash action hero, whatever, basically killers, whether they're serial or not, put together in a small town where it's shut down and they can't leave. They have to defeat each other one by one. That's the premise of Exquisite Corpses. It's by Image Comics. I wish I read the first issue when we talked about it previously.
Yeah.
I didn't read it, and now I've read it, so I really want to talk about it. I just think that the title could have been something else because it doesn't give away the actual premise, which is it's kind of like a competition reality show.
Right.
But it's a secret.
I'm literally adding it. I'm literally putting that on my thing. I'm probably going to read that as soon as I get off the off here.
Yeah. I mean, it's horror, but it's also like Hunger Games in a way, right? Like, but it's with serial killer, a lot of serial killers, and each killer has their own method. Like, there's a little kid who uses video games and drones to kill people. Like, there's like different things, there's different things. There's a guy out there who seduces people. I forget what it, and they all have like cool names and whatever. And like, there's like a circus strongman that like kills people with a hammer and like different things like that. So that's Exquisite Corpses for anyone out there. Go to comicshoplocator.com, find a comic shop near you, and pick up any of these comics. Exquisite Corpses included at your local comic shop. So we are out of time. I want to thank you so much, Aaron, for coming on the show and talking everything. Of course. Anyone out there who's watching and or listening, let us know you're out there. Like, comment, subscribe, follow. YouTube.com/The Keeg Show is our big one. Like these episodes, follow, do your thing, let us know. If you're listening to the podcast, it's wherever you get your podcast from: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, SoundCloud. Let us know you're out there. Write a, sparkling review for us. Help us out, Comic Talk is just one of the many shows that we do under the Keeg channel. I just interviewed writer Tim Sheridan on a previous episode of the Keeg Chats. Yeah. So that is a really fresh episode. Watch it on YouTube, listen to it on the podcast, whatever. But he is the writer of Alan Scott, The Green Lantern, and many other works. So I thought the interview went really great. Aaron, where can we find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
Yes. So you guys can always find me at Kinkerkoa on TikTok, the Kinkerkoa on Instagram. I have some videos in the works now, but the thing I didn't that I want to advertise, I guess, is the book I didn't get to talk about. They Choose Violence, written by Sheldon Allen.
That's right. Sorry, yes.
That one was a really good book. I would suggest people read it. It's an edgy book. I can't get it. We can't get into it now. I'll probably do a video about it later. But yeah, you should definitely read that.
Okay. Cool. For anyone out there, again, YouTube or I guess Twitch as well, but we're really focusing on YouTube right now. Podcasts are cool too. If you want to find us on social media, at The Keeg Show, on TikTok and Instagram, at The Keeg Show, or we're also on Blue Sky and Threads and all that, at The Keeg Show / The Keeg Show, wherever you can find The Keeg. Go to comicshoplocator.com, find a comic shop near you, support your local comic shops, and also support your local public libraries, because they have comics, and even if they didn't, they still need our support. They are pillars of the community. Local public libraries, support those. They helped me get into comics personally, and that just rerouted me completely. So thank you to Fullerton Public Library for being a formative part of my childhood. Other than that, do what you need to do. Come back for another episode of Comic Talk. We do this here every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on our live stream, and then podcast afterwards. But we also got the Keeg Chats and the Keeg Live. I also just watched Elio, and it is great. So go see Elio this weekend. But that's pretty much it. Thank you, Aaron, so much for coming on the show. Thank you to everybody out there. Once again, I am your host, Dimithri Perera, and this has been Comic Talk for the week of June 19th, 2025. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.